So when you're buying a high-end full frame Canon camera, you're probably faced with two choices of your standard lens, you know, your go-to lens to buy with that camera, and that would be the 24-70 f2.8, which is this one here, and the 24-105 f4. Now the 24-70 f2.8 is more expensive. If you buy them, you know, as a standalone lens, this is £2,500, and the 24-105 f4 is approximately £1,400. That's at the time of making this video. So there's a big price difference if you're buying them individually, but if you're buying them as a kit or with the camera body itself, it's not that much difference. So if you had an R5 with the 24-70, it's approximately £6,000 at the minute, and if you bought it with the 24-105, it's about £5,300, I think, around about that price at this moment in time. Now there is a difference of £700, but let's face it, if you're investing 6 grand odd into a camera system, that £700, I don't think it's going to make much difference in your decision. Another thing that might swing you between these two lenses is the 24-70 here is a little bit bigger, okay? But I wouldn't consider it as being a deal breaker. You know, in your camera bag, they're both fairly big lenses, so I wouldn't consider the size a deal breaker. When you make that choice between this one and that one, it's going to come down to whether you want an extra stop, the f2.8, or whether you want the extra focal range, which would be 70-105 difference in this one. So what we're going to do in this video is we are going to put these lenses head to head in a portrait shoot to see what the actual difference is between an extra stop of light, you know, that depth of field, or the extra focal length. Is it really going to be worth investing that extra bit of money for an extra stop with this 24-70? So that's what we're going to test in this video. So before we set up for the shoot, I just want to thank Wex Photo Video, which is a great camera store. They have sent me this equipment to play with. And if you do want to buy any of these lenses, please click the link in the description of this video. And if you purchase a lens, we'll get a little bit of money, all right? So I'll thank you for that. So I'm going to set up the camera for the first test, and then I'm going to tell you all about the test. The model has arrived, and today we are using the lovely Rosie over there. You've seen her before in many of my videos and courses. She's a brilliant model, and so we're going to use her today. And I'm going to talk to you about the test now. So I've got the 24-70 f2.8 2.5 grand lens on an R5. I'm going to take shots at 50mm and 70mm at 2.8 only, right? So this is not like one of them extensive like tests between each focal range, etc., because to be totally honest, you shouldn't be interested in that. If you're doing wide angles, both of them are good. What we're interested in is if the extra stop of light is worth the extra focal range. Now there is an obvious one there. The extra focal range obviously gets closer in, but really when it comes to things like portraiture and most stuff, it's about the depth of field and the compression that you get. So that's really what we're going to be testing. So I'm going to be doing shots at 50mm and 70mm at f2.8 on this lens. Then I'm going to put a 24-105 on and do 50mm focal range, 70mm and 105mm at f4, which is the widest aperture on that lens. Then we'll compare the two, you know. Is the compression that you're getting at a higher focal range better than the extra stop of light that you get at 70mm? That's basically what we're going to do. And to be honest, it's a really good test. It's something that I'm interested in looking at myself. And if you are looking at buying one of these two lenses, this video is going to really help you out. Right, just going to set up, I'm going to take some pictures, and I'll tell you about other settings as we go. So we're coming out to the back end of winter here, and there's no leaves on the trees. It's as muddy as you like on the floor, but we've got a nice cloudy day, and actually that suits what we're going to do today. So it's good that we've got a cloudy day. We've got nice soft light coming in on Rosie. I've got the aperture set to f2.8 on here. I'm on aperture priority. I'm not going to go below 250th of a second because I don't want to get camera shake. I know this has got all the bells and whistles, IBIS and this, that and the other, but you just need to be sure. I've put the ISO on auto, so that will just change as I take the shots as well. I'm going to get my bounce reflector, silver reflector, and try and push some light back up into Rosie. Although I literally don't know how I'm going to do it. I might have to lean it up against you, Ryan, so it goes like that, but we'll figure it out in a sec. So there was just not enough light on the face there of Rosie, and I've made some makeshift thing there with my tripod and my bounce reflector. 20 odd quid off of Amazon, the best thing you'll ever buy. It's doing the job. So now we're going to start again. Sorry, here we go, Rosie. Okay, same thing again. Just lean light up against there and just relax a bit. And we'll do some with your jacket on, and I think I might do that afterwards. But okay, here we go. Right, same thing again, Rosie. Just nice and relaxed, please. Nice and relaxed. This is at 50mm, f2.8, and here we go. So there's some full body pictures at 50mm. I'm going to keep it at 50mm. I'm going to get a bit closer and try and concentrate on some more sort of head and shoulders shots. Again, f2.8, 50mm. Let's have a go at that. There we go. Oh, now that is a good headshot. Okay, now towards me. Eyes. That's it. Good. Turn your head towards me. Good. So that was full body at 50mm, headshots at 50mm. It's an easy test really. Now I'm going to zoom in to 70mm, which is obviously the maximum focal range on this particular lens. f2.8 again, and again, same thing. We're going to do some full body, some headshots, easy as that. I'm going to lean up against the fence again. Nice full body shots, and good. So that's full body at 70mm, f2.8, headshots at 70mm, f2.8. So I'm basically going to try and frame up the same as what I did at 50mm. So like, for argument's sake, that Rosie's head fills the frame in the same amount of percentage, if that makes sense, okay? But let's get a bit closer. Okay, fantastic. So there you go, full body at 70mm, headshots at 70mm, and the same at 50mm with this lens here, the 2.5 grand one. I'm going to now put the 24 to 105 on and do the same thing, then we can compare. So the 24 to 105 is now on, and I'm going to do the same thing again, full body and headshots at 50mm, at 70mm, and at 105mm. This camera obviously only goes to f4, and so that's the aperture that I'm going to be using. So same thing again, Rosie, we will just run through these. That's full body at 50. Let's get in and do some headshots. All right, fabulous. Headshots there. Done. Now I'm going to change to 70mm. Do the same thing again. Obviously the purpose is that we can have like a side-by-side test between this lens at f4 and that lens at f2.8, so you can actually see the difference in the foreground and the background bokeh or blurriness. Okay, so now for the 70mm shots. I like that. That's the full body at 70, headshots at 70. Nice, look towards Ryan. All right, headshots at 70mm. Now's the test really. So obviously that one was the aperture, wasn't it? You had f2.8 at the same focal length on that lens, f4 on this lens. But now we're going to go to the maximum focal range of this lens, which is 105, shoot at f4, do some full bodies, do some headshots and see the difference there. And you can already see the compression in the scene is obviously more. There's less of this path in the scene, so you can see that that's happening. So I am noticing that when I zoom in, they're a little bit soft, the full body at 105. So it could be camera shake. I don't think it's the ISO creeping up because it's not creeping up that much, but I have just changed the minimum shutter speed to 1/500th of a second to see if that works. And yeah, I've just got to keep an eye on it really. So let's crack on. Right, that's full body at 105. Now let's do some headshots at 105 as well, okay? So that's the test done with the 24 to 105. Let's go back to the studio now and then let's pick these pictures apart and hopefully see which lens is gonna be better for you if you're gonna buy one of these high-end full frame Canons. I see, oh, thanks to Rosie. There she is, thanks to Rosie for being our model for today. And I'll see you back in the studio. So we're back now to look at these images. Really good test this is, and you know, I feel privileged to be able to do them. I really wish that someone had done this test when I was buying my first big lens, shall we say, to go with my first big camera. Really surprising results. Now, before we look at them, let me take this opportunity to tell you about the courses that we run over at theschoolofphotography.com. If you want to learn portrait photography, landscape photography, studio lighting, wildlife, macro, fine art, come over and see us. We also have courses in Photoshop, Lightroom, beginner photography course as well. We set you assignments to challenge your newly acquired skills. We have competitions and a fantastic member community for learning photographers. But don't just take my word for it. Go and check out our reviews on all of the review places. Let's now go and have a look at these images. So just to explain a few things before we start, I'm in Lightroom, and up the top here I've put the information up of each image so that you can see what's going on. I imported them and converted them to DNG, so that makes no difference whatsoever. It's still the raw file, and I've done a very light edit on the ones that we are going to compare, and I mean a really light edit, and that is just to balance things out because it just makes the test better. I know you probably want to see the raw file, but we're just going to go over to the develop module. I just want to show you. Okay, look, it's a very light edit in the basic panel. If I hide that and bring it back, look, that's all I've done to these images. All right, It just makes it easier for us to look at them, basically. I think they've just been balanced out, should we say. So it's just been balanced out. Okay, so that's that there. Let's go back to the library module. I've color coded in purple here the 24 to 70mm lens, as you can see there. And then in blue is the images taken with the 24 to 105 f4 lens. Okay, and then you may also notice that I've got two there. So these are all 1 of 2s. Now that is because if I click the yellow over here, the yellow is my fully graded pictures, my fully edited pictures. Now we're not going to concentrate on them in this test, but obviously I'm going to grade the pictures as I do normally. I'm going to put these images in a blog post in the link of this video if you really want to see it, or of course follow my personal socials at Mark Newton on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, and you can see these pictures there. But yeah, so that's why. So basically the yellow is a copy, and that's what I've fully edited, shall we say. I'm going to tick off of yellow for now. We might come back and look at them as the test progresses. But firstly, let's look at the full body shot that I took with the 24 to 70 here at f2.8 against, and that was taken at 50mm focal length, against the 24 to 105 lens version. I'm going to hold down the control key and I'm going to select that there, and then I'm going to press the C key to compare. On the left is the 24 to 70 lens, f2.8, that one was taken at, as you can see, and then over on the right here is the 24 to 105 taken at f4. I mean, the background is a bit more blurrier here. You can see that because you've got the extra stop. This is what this test is all about, right? Is the extra stop of light worth the extra focal length that you get? That's what we're looking at here. Okay, this is not really one of them scientific, decimal point type tests. This is a photographer's test. This is what it is. So we can see that that is a bit more blurrier in the background, but apart from that, they look fairly similar to me. We'll zoom in and you can see there that they are both as crisp as you like. And we can also see that, there's a bit more blurriness in the background there with the 24 to 70 lens. Let's click back on that to full screen it. And now let's look at the headshot version. Again, when it comes to the background here, shooting at 50mm, it is a bit more creamy with the 24 to 70, as you can see. Let's zoom in. The crispness, yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that. They're just as crisp as you like, both of them. All right, there's nothing in that at all. So let's zoom back out there. And there you go. That is the headshot and the full body version, both taken at 50mm focal length. One at f2.8 for argument's sake, and one at f4, all right? The crispness, the sharpness, the quality, the same in both. The only difference, background blur, as you would expect, because one's at f2.8. And now we're going to look at the next example. Just to remind you, now we are shooting at 70mm, and with the 24 to 70 at f2.8, and with the 24 to 105, it's f4. So for argument's sake, this is the 24 to 70 maxed out, okay? Fully zoomed in, widest aperture, all right? Over on the right here, you've got the 24 to 105. It only goes to f4, and it's zoomed in now to 70mm. Now, to me, there's not as much difference in the background blur. Still a difference. Like I've said, you're going to expect that because one is f2.8 and one is f4. What we're looking at is what's the actual difference. Okay, we know there's going to be a difference, but what's the actual difference? It is blurrier and creamier, shall we say, with the 24 to 70. Let's zoom in. They are both nice and sharp again, nothing wrong with that at all. And if we're going to compare the backgrounds here, let's just have a look at the backgrounds. Look, a bit more creamier, shall we say, with the f2.8. It's to be expected. I've got to be honest with you. Looking at this test is so good. I mean, I would have expected it to be more blurry with f2.8, especially zoomed in at 70 at its maximum. I would have expected it to be more, but there is other factors like the focal point is further away. I would say for this particular test, there is very little difference between them two. And then we're going to compare the headshot version. Okay. So again, you've got your settings at the top here if you want to refer to them. And when it comes to the background blur, now it is considerably more blurrier with the f2.8. That's because we are closer. Okay, so remember, depth of field is controlled by 3 things in photography. We teach you all about that over in our beginners course. It is a beginner thing to grasp. So if you haven't grasped the 3 things that give you depth of field, you need to do our beginners course, that's for sure. But as you would expect, you're closer, you're in the widest aperture. It's nice and creamy in the background here. I'm going to zoom in so we can see. Let's go like that. We can see that that background there is really creamy, really blended in. And then we're going to go over here to the f4 version. And I mean, it's blurry enough. I mean, how blurry do you want it? But it's not as creamy as the one over here, the f2.8. All right. So in that particular instance, if it's that absolute creamy, blurry background that you want, that extra stop is going to help you in this particular scenario. Now, what we've got to look at is the difference in the focal range, because we are maxed out now on the 24-70. This is what it can do. Okay, it can't go any further than this. This is fully zoomed in, widest aperture. You know, that's what you're going to get. Now, the 24-105, even though it's f4, will zoom in a bit more. So what we're looking at is that extra compression that you get with the focal range better or more valuable, shall we say, than the extra stop of light that you get with the 24-70, really? Because that's what you've got to choose between if you're going to choose between these 2 lenses. Right, so check the settings again. Don't forget, they're here. You can see them all here. On the right here, we've got the 24-70. This is a f2.8. This lens is fully maxed out for argument's sake, all right? Over on the left here, we've got the 105 at f4. Again, it's fully maxed out for argument's sake. I don't know the actual terminology, but it's at its maximum, okay? Now, me personally, I like this look here to the left. It compresses the scene more. Look how much closer these row of trees look in comparison to the body. It looks like you've brought them closer to you. You know, that's compression. It's bringing things closer to you like that. Whereas here, it's not. It's like further away. And if we look at the blurriness between the two, it's actually now more blurry, I think. Listen, it's my personal view, and I'm filming this on a 4K screen. It's filmed in 4K, so if you're watching on a 4K screen, you're actually looking at what I'm looking at. But this is, to me, I think that it's more blurry. I'm going to zoom in. There we go. All right. It's very slight, but you can see that with these branches here, you know, there's more definition there. I mean, we are splitting hairs. We are absolutely splitting hairs here. But that's what I think, particularly when you zoom out. You can see that it seems a bit more blurrier like that. But I like that compression looks, particularly for full body shots. So I'm thinking here that the 24-105 zoomed right in at f4 is a better look than the 24-70 zoomed in at 70mm at f2.8. My opinion. I would love you. There's comments, don't forget, you know, comment whether you're experienced in this and you've got these lenses, or whether you're a beginner. You've got an opinion, so put it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, that's my view there. And then we're going to go to the headshot version. Again, check out the settings there. On the right, we've got the 24-70mm lens maxed out, zoomed in at 70mm. And on the left here, we've got the 24-105 zoomed in at f4. Again, the background is blurrier on the 105. We're going to zoom in, check the crispness out. I mean, this has been undisputed actually with both of these lenses. They are crisp as you like. It's the background really that we're looking at, and it's also the shape of the face, because as you zoom in further, it does compress the face in a little bit, and as you zoom out, it stretches the face, etc. Again, we teach you that on the beginners course. But you know, between 70mm and 105, it's hardly noticeable, and yet they're both good focal ranges for a face. For me, again, the 24-105 wins. All right. And just for argument's sake, let's have a look at the fully edited versions. And here we go. We've got the fully edited version on both lenses. I mean, you'd have to be a bloody genius to know what lens is what in this. If I just put them on the screen, you'd probably think they were both taken with exactly the same lens. And just for argument's sake, again, let's have a look at the fully graded version of the full body shot. I'm showing you this because this is like both lenses maxed out, fully edited. Okay. On the left here, we've got 105 taken at f4. On the right here, we've got 70mm taken at f2.8. Again, you'd have to be a genius to see that difference. I mean, you know, you really, really would. So that's the test. I think it was a really good test, all right? Now, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here. I've done lots of tests on lenses in the past, but this one in particular is for people who are going to choose between them two lenses. Them two lenses are your choice. No one, or if you have, it'd be really weird if you had both of them lenses in your bag. You know, if you're going to get yourself an R6, an R5, an R1, R3, what, you know, them high-end cameras, then your standard lens, these lenses are not standard kit lenses by a shot, but your standard go-to lens will either be the 24-70 or the 24-105. Now, which one are you going to choose? There is a price difference. The 24-70 is dearer, but if you're spending that amount of money, I don't think it's going to make a difference in your decision. What the difference is going to be is the look that you get from either camera. So you've got a choice. Do you want the extra f2.8 or do you want the extra focal range? Now, for me personally, it's the 24-105. It's a little bit cheaper, and I think the extra focal range is a much better look than the extra f-stop. And of course, I've done the test here in portraiture, all right? And there's going to be people out there going, no, with portraiture, you should have an extra f. I can see them. They're typing right now, and they're angry in their head. You need the extra stop, blah, 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 right? Well, I've been using the 24-105 for absolutely years. Not the RF version, actually, the older version, you know, on the 5D Mark IV. And it's a brilliant lens. It's the one that I use the most. And in fact, I am working with an extremely good landscape photographer at the minute called Jack Lodge. You don't get many better landscape photographers than that guy. His most used lens is the 24-105. So you've got me here doing a portrait test, saying I prefer the 24-105. I know that that particular landscape photographer would say the 24-105. Again, these are opinions, and if you disagree, put it in the comments and get a conversation going. And don't forget, if you want a good look at these images, I'll zoom them in for you and you can have them, you know, really clear and crisp. I'm going to make a blog post. The link's in the description of this video. Click on it and you can zoom in on your phone or on the screen or whatever, and you can really look at these pictures in detail if you want to. And the next thing that you've got to do is like the video, right? If this has done you a favor, if you've enjoyed this video, please help me out, all right? It's all algorithms. If you don't like and subscribe, share it with people, comment, etc., you're not going to get any more of these videos. It's as simple as that. You know, hopefully I'm helping you, and I'm asking you to please help me back. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and all of them things. So I really do hope that you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, if you want to learn photography properly, come over and see us at theschoolofphotography.com.